You are losing thousands of dollars a year right now, and you don't even know it's happening. Not from one big mistake, from 13 small, invisible habits that feel completely normal, that everyone around you is doing too, and that quietly drain your bank account before you even notice it's gone. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly where your money has been disappearing to. Some of these are going to make you uncomfortable. Good. That means it's working. Let's start with the first one. You probably did this exact thing this year and didn't think twice about it. Lifestyle creep. Every time you get a raise, something quietly unsettling happens. You wait to feel richer, and you don't. The feeling just doesn't come. Instead, without even noticing, you start spending like the raise never happened at all. That's lifestyle creep, and it might be the sneakiest way your money slips through your fingers. Here's how it sneaks in. You get a $5,000 raise. The old you would have saved it, maybe even felt proud watching the number grow. But the new you upgrades the apartment, orders takeout twice a week instead of once, suddenly needs the nicer car because, well, you can afford it now, right? And here's the unsettling part. None of it feels reckless in the moment. Every single purchase feels earned, deserved, reasonable. But this is the part that should really bother you. Your savings rate doesn't rise with your income. For most people, it stays exactly where it started, or it quietly gets worse because your expenses always seem to find a way to catch up. Studies on income growth show something almost tragic. People who double their salary over a decade often save the same percentage, sometimes less, than when they were earning half. You're not broke. You just feel broke at every single income level. Your bank is quietly hoping you never read this next part. Only paying the minimum. Look at your credit card statement. There are two numbers staring back at you. The full balance and a much smaller, gentler-looking number called the minimum payment. Paying that smaller number feels responsible. It feels safe. It is not. It might be the single most expensive decision you make every single month, and it doesn't even feel like a decision at all. Here's what's quietly happening behind the scenes. Credit card interest compounds daily, and your minimum payment is calculated to cover barely more than that month's interest. You're not paying down what you bought. You are paying rent on it. Forever. A $5,000 balance at 22% interest paid at minimum payments only can take over 15 years to clear and can cost you more than double the original amount in interest alone. Let that sink in. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. The credit card company wants you to pay the minimum. That number was never there to help you. It was calibrated carefully to keep you in debt for as long as legally possible while looking completely harmless on paper. You think you're managing the balance. The truth is much colder. The balance has been managing you the entire time. One bad week is all it would take. Not a bad year, a bad week. No emergency fund. Ask most people what happens if their car breaks down tomorrow, or they lose their job overnight. And underneath the calm exterior, the honest answer is panic. Real, stomach-dropping panic. Roughly half of Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt for it. That's not a them problem, and it's not really an income problem either. It's a structural gap in how people are taught to plan, or never taught at all. Here's the quiet mechanism working against you. Without a cash buffer, every unexpected expense becomes a credit card charge. That charge becomes debt with interest. That debt becomes the reason you can't save, which means the next emergency also lands on a card. It's a loop, and once you're inside it, it feels almost impossible to climb back out. And here's the part that should frustrate you the most. People treat an emergency fund like a luxury, something you build after everything else is handled. It's the exact opposite. It's the thing standing between you and total collapse the moment life gets inconvenient. And life always gets inconvenient. Without that buffer, you're not one bad month away from disaster. You're one bad week away. And most people don't realize how thin that margin really is until it's already too late. That smart purchase you're proud of, it might be costing you more than you think. Financing a new car. Walking off a dealership lot with a brand new car feels like pure achievement, like you've made it. Financially, though, it's closer to setting your money on fire in slow motion, and nobody at the dealership is going to tell you that. Here's the number they conveniently leave out. A new car loses roughly 20% of its value in the first year alone, and up to 60% within 5 years. So you're not just paying interest on the loan, you're paying interest on an asset that is actively, quietly becoming worth less every single month you own it. And here's the part that should genuinely bother you. Most new car buyers roll negative equity from their last car straight into the new loan, meaning they're financing a depreciating asset with debt from a previous depreciating asset. The loan term keeps stretching to make the payment feel bearable. 6 years, 7 years, sometimes longer, which means you're still paying interest years after the car's warranty has already run out. The dealership was never selling you transportation. They were selling you a payment you'll still be making long after that new car smell is gone. You could be losing 20% of your paycheck right now and not even know it. No budget, just vibes. Most people genuinely don't know where their money goes. Not roughly, not approximately. If you ask them right now, they couldn't give you the exact number. And that gap between what you think you spend and what you actually spend is exactly where entire paychecks quietly disappear. Here's how it happens without you ever noticing. Small purchases don't register as spending in your brain. A coffee here, a delivery fee there, a forgotten subscription, none of it feels significant enough to track, so none of it ever gets tracked. But small, untracked purchases compound exactly like debt does, just in reverse, silently working against you. Financial studies consistently find that people who track their spending for even 1 month discover 10 to 20% of their income was going to things they couldn't previously name. And here's the part that should really sit with you. This was never a willpower problem. It's a visibility problem. You can't fix a leak you can't see. Most people are managing their entire financial life the way you'd run a business with absolutely no accounting. Confident, busy, moving fast, and quietly bleeding money the whole time. Go check your bank statement. Oh, wait. Subscription creep. Go on, open your bank statement right now and count the recurring charges. Most people can't even name half of them without looking, and there's something quietly embarrassing about that. Streaming services, apps, memberships, subscriptions you started for a free trial and simply forgot to cancel. Here's the mechanism companies are counting on, and it's almost sneaky when you see it clearly. Subscriptions are designed to be effortless to start and deliberately, frustratingly annoying to cancel, sometimes requiring a phone call, a retention offer, or a maze of settings menus built to wear you down. The friction isn't an accident. The friction is the business model. Each individual subscription looks so cheap. $9 here, $14 there, easy to justify in total isolation. But here's the part that should really bother you. The average person is now paying for more recurring subscriptions than they can accurately list from memory, often adding up to hundreds of dollars a month they never consciously chose to spend. You didn't decide to spend that much. That's the quiet, uncomfortable truth. You just never decided to stop. This one feels harmless until it isn't. Buy now, pay later. Splitting a purchase into 4 easy payments feels like a clever little hack. It isn't a hack. It's a rebrand. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Buy now, pay later services took the exact structure of a loan and quietly stripped away everything that used to make people cautious. The paperwork, the interest rate disclosure, even the simple feeling that you're borrowing money at all. Here's the mechanism working on your brain in real time. Because each purchase feels small, 4 payments of $25 instead of 1 payment of $100, your brain doesn't process it as debt. It processes it as a discount, a win, a small victory. But stack 5 or 6 of these plans across different purchases and different apps, and suddenly you've built an invisible web of obligations with no single place to see the total. And here's the part that should genuinely worry you. Missed payments on these plans increasingly hit your credit report exactly like a missed loan payment would. And studies show a significant share of users are juggling multiple plans simultaneously without truly realizing how much they collectively owe. It doesn't feel like debt while you're creating it. It feels exactly like debt, all at once, the moment you can't pay it back. The version of you waiting for the right time might be costing you your entire retirement. Not investing because you're waiting for the right time. Somewhere out there is a version of you waiting for the market to feel safer, the economy to feel more stable, or your bank account to finally feel big enough before you start investing. That version of you has probably been waiting for years, quietly telling yourself, soon. Here's the math nobody says out loud. The real cost of waiting isn't measured in the money you didn't lose. It's measured in the growth you never got to feel. Money invested consistently over decades benefits from compound growth, where your returns start generating their own returns, almost like magic if you let it run long enough. Delay that by even 5 or 10 years, and the difference isn't small. It's often the quiet, heartbreaking difference between retiring comfortably and never really retiring at all. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. Historically, the market's best days tend to cluster right after its worst ones, which means the exact moments that feel too terrifying to invest are often the moments that matter the most. Missing just the 10 best trading days over several decades can cut your total returns dramatically. You aren't protecting your money by waiting. You are quietly paying a tax made entirely of lost time. And time, unlike money, never comes back.
There is money with your name on it right now that you're not picking up, leaving free money on the table. If your employer offers a retirement match and you're not contributing enough to get the full amount, you are actively, quietly declining a raise. Not a metaphorical one, a real one you already qualify for, that requires no negotiation, no awkward conversation, nothing. And you're walking away from it every single pay period without even realizing it. Here's how it actually works. Employer matching means your company adds money to your retirement account based on what you contribute, often matching a percentage dollar for dollar. If you contribute nothing, you get nothing, even though that money was functionally already part of your compensation. And here's the part that should really sting. Roughly a quarter of employees eligible for a match don't contribute enough to receive the full amount, which collectively adds up to billions of dollars in unclaimed compensation every single year. This isn't an investment risk. There's no market timing, no gamble involved. It's free money with your name already on it, just sitting there. And most people simply never fill out the form to go and claim it.
This one's uncomfortable because almost everyone does it. Emotional spending. You had a bad day, so you bought something. And for about 20 minutes, it actually worked. It felt good. Then the bad day was still there, waiting for you. Plus a new charge on your card. This is emotional spending, and it might be one of the most common financial patterns that never gets labeled as a mistake, because in the moment, it never feels like one. Here's the mechanism quietly running the show. Spending money triggers a small dopamine response, the same reward pathway involved in most pleasurable behaviors. Your brain isn't actually seeking the item. It's seeking the brief, fleeting relief of the purchase itself. Stress, boredom, and loneliness are the 3 biggest triggers, which means the spending has almost nothing to do with what you're actually buying. And here's the part that should really give you pause. Because the purchases feel justified individually, a treat, some self-care, something you deserve, they rarely get flagged as a pattern until the credit card statement arrives, and you genuinely can't account for where it all went. You weren't buying the item. You were buying 20 minutes of not feeling whatever it was you were feeling. This mistake doesn't just cost you money. It can cost you your house, treating your home like a piggy bank. Home equity loans and cash-out refinances get marketed as smart financial tools, and sometimes, genuinely, they are. But for a huge number of people, they've quietly become a way to convert a paid-down, hard-earned asset back into debt to fund things that don't build any wealth at all. Vacations, cars, credit card payoffs that get run right back up again. Here's the part that should really stop you in your tracks. Every dollar you borrow against your home is a dollar of real equity, real ownership that you're trading away for new debt secured against the very place you live. If payments stop, the consequences aren't like defaulting on a credit card. The collateral is your house. During periods of rising home values, this trap becomes especially easy to fall into because the equity feels like found money, like a gift, instead of what it actually is, borrowed money, with your home standing as the guarantee. People who leaned on their homes this way during past economic downturns didn't just lose savings. In the worst cases, they lost the house, the one thing that was supposed to be their most secure asset in the world.
Saying yes to this for someone you love could quietly wreck your own finances. Co-signing a loan. Co-signing feels like a small favor between people who trust each other. It is actually a full financial obligation with your name permanently attached to it, identical to taking out the loan yourself, except you don't get to control a single spending decision that follows. Here's the mechanism most people never fully register until it's too late. When you co-sign, you're not simply vouching for someone's character. You are legally agreeing to pay the full balance if they don't. Not half, not a portion, the full amount, plus any late fees and interest that quietly pile up along the way. And here's the part that should genuinely worry you. A missed payment on a co-signed loan hits your credit score exactly as hard as it would if you had missed it yourself, even if you never saw a single cent of the money and have absolutely no way to make the other person pay on time. Financial counselors consistently rank co-signing among the most common ways otherwise responsible, careful people end up buried in debt that isn't even technically theirs. You didn't take out a loan. You just quietly agreed to be the backup plan for someone else's life, with none of the control and all of the risk.
This number has been shaping your future for years, and you've probably never even looked at it, ignoring your credit score until you need it. Most people don't think about their credit score until the exact moment they desperately need it to be good, applying for a mortgage, a car loan, sometimes even a job or an apartment. And by then, it's often already too late to fix it quickly. Here's how the score quietly works against people who ignore it. It's built from years of payment history, credit utilization, and account age, which means it simply cannot be repaired overnight, no matter how much money you suddenly have available. A few years of missed payments or maxed out cards can take far longer to undo than they ever took to create. That imbalance is brutal. And here's the part that should genuinely bother you. The financial cost of a bad credit score isn't just rejection. It's every approval you do get at a dramatically worse interest rate. The difference between a good score and a poor one can mean tens of thousands of dollars in extra interest over the life of a mortgage or car loan, paid for a number most people never checked until they had no choice left. Your credit score was never optional homework. It was quietly writing your future loan terms the entire time you weren't even looking at it.
None of these 13 things are dramatic. That's exactly why they work. No single one of them will ruin you overnight. There's no crash, no headline, no obvious moment where you can point and say, that's where it went wrong. It's quieter than that. It's a raise you didn't save, a minimum payment you didn't question, a subscription you forgot about, a match you never claimed. Small, reasonable, forgettable decisions made over and over again, for years, until one day you look up and wonder where all the money actually went. The good news is, the opposite is also true. None of these require a dramatic fix either. You don't need to overhaul your entire life this week. You just need to fix one of these. Just one. Pick the one that hit hardest while you were watching this, and go deal with it today, not someday. Because the gap between the people who build wealth and the people who don't was never about how much they earned. It was about how much they noticed.